Hello, people of this earth and beyond, and welcome to another Doctor Who action figure review with me, your host, James Land of Ironside Davros. Okay, so today I'm going to be reviewing this figure here, which is the 10th Doctor in tuxedo from the collector figure range in the 5.5 inch scale. Okay, so straight off the bat, I want to clarify that these are my first thoughts. I haven't had this figure for a long time. I literally just received it in the mail just a couple of minutes ago. I got it straight out of the box and started to record this video as soon as I unboxed it. So these are going to be my first thoughts. So, of course, my thoughts may change having this figure on longevity. But these are just the thoughts that I pick up just straight away out of the box. Okay, so first off, let's go over the packaging, which you can see behind. It's just your standard 5.5 inch packaging, as you can see. It says the 10th Doctor in tuxedo at the bottom. Got a nice picture of the figure and a write-up. You can pause if you want to read any of that right now, because I'm going to be taking the packaging away like so. Okay, so now to focus on just the figure itself. As you can see, it is a very nice representation of David Tennant in the tuxedo. Now, if you're wondering what episodes this is based on, it's based off his appearance in Rise of the Cybermen and also Voyage of the Damned. So, of course, in both of those stories, he was wearing a nice black tuxedo, and this is a very nice representation of the costume. Okay, so I'm going to run over the articulation first, and then I'll move on to the detail, and then I'll do a bit of a comparison, and I'll just go over what I'm going to do with the figure on my display. Okay, so to start off, articulation. So the head is on a rotation. I do not believe it can do 360 because it is hindered by the tuxedo here. The arms go out to the side, which is a big deal for a David Tennant figure, because this is the first figure to have a ball peg joint at the top of the arm, and I am very pleased that they included that added articulation. It also goes up and down and will probably do a 360, but I don't want to try it. I don't want to damage the figure, and I certainly don't want to break David Tennant's arm. He is my favourite Doctor, and I don't want him to have a broken arm because of me, so I'm not going to do that to him. He also has a rotation at the upper arm, just above the lower arm and the elbow, and at the elbow there is a bend. He has rotation in the wrist, and actually that's a very nice joint at the wrist. One thing that some of the early David Tennant figures lacked was a good wrist joint. Many of them did have issues with rotating at the wrist, and some of them wouldn't rotate at all, so I'm glad to see that that has been amended in this figure. Okay, so he can do a forward kick, and he bends at the knees, and he can also splay his legs out to the side. So some really nice articulation on this figure, and of course the articulation does match with the new Collector Series range, which is a very highly articulated range, and I'm liking what they've done so far. I would like them to do a Mark 6 Cyberman at some point, so character, if you want to do that, it would be much appreciated, but for now the range has been very nice. Okay, so moving on to the detail of this figure. Of course, it is just a black and white tuxedo, so you're not going to get too much paint detail on the costume, but as you can see, it is nicely sculpted. You've got the nice bow tie there, and you've got the buttons on the wrist. You've got a nice crease down the back there, and all manner of different little bits of addition to the detail of the suit. You've got a button there where the coat comes together, and you've got all nice creasing. Coming down to the shoes are black and white. You can see, of course, the nice detail there. You've got the stripes on the side of them, and of course there is the nice stitching and that on the shoes. So all around, the detail on the costume is really nice. Now, what about the likeness? Now, this likeness of Tennant I'm actually very impressed with. If I bring out my previous favourite 10th Doctor figure, which was this one, you can see the likeness on this new figure is a lot better. He has an overall better sculpt than prior Tennant figures, and the fact that he seems to have a more lifelike and flat sort of face makes it more realistic, because Tennant does not have a particularly big nose, which he seems to have on the previous figure, I'm just noticing. So yeah, his smaller nose and flatter face do make him more like the actual actor. His likeness is spot on. I don't think you can actually get a better likeness in this scale, although I did say that, I believe, when I first got this figure, so we shall see as time comes on. But as far as right now, this is the best likeness for a Tennant figure. Okay, so as you can see, of course, the new Tennant is loaded with more articulation than the previous Tennants, this just being an example, but you can see it's got more arm articulation, and that is always good. And moving on, I am just going to explain to you why I bought this figure when I have so many Tennants. I have always wanted a David Tennant figure in tuxedo. I was actually very surprised that they never made one back in Series 2, and now I finally have it, so I can put Tennant with Lumic, the Cyber Controller, and my Cybermen on my collection, which I will be doing as soon as this video is uploaded. I will find a place for Tennant on my little display that I have of the Cybermen, and I can't wait to see how that looks. So overall, what do I think of this figure? Like I said, it's a very nice figure. It's a shame that the range is very limited in the amount of figures that they are releasing now, because, as many of you may know, there's only 3 figures that are currently being released. I pre-ordered 2 of them. I pre-ordered, of course, Tennant, and I've also pre-ordered the 12th Doctor Capaldi in his suit with the checkered trousers and the hoodie. So please, if you want to see a review on that, stick around. Review will be coming soon as I have the figure. But overall, what do I think of this figure? Like I said, it's a great figure. I would highly recommend it. If you don't already have a David Tennant figure, absolutely recommend it. It is the best likeness you're going to get in this scale. And overall, I would rate it very highly. I can't find a single fault on it just yet, so I'm actually going to give it a very high 10 out of 10. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, smack that like button, and please subscribe. Please comment and hit the bell to be notified of future reviews and other videos on this channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all in the next video. Bye guys.